the regular seasons of the Pro League, there are playoffs to determine the winners of each half-year season. The present format for the playoffs are that the top 4 teams are in the playoffs for each half season. The 4th-ranked team plays the 3rd-ranked team. The winner of that plays the 2nd-ranked team, and the winner of that plays the 1st-ranked team. So it's very, very important, of course, to be the 1st-ranked team, as it makes it so much easier to win. You only have to win 1 match rather than 3. But in any case, there's a final tournament at the end of the year to determine the best team of the year after both of the half seasons are done. And this usually occurs early in the next calendar year. So 2007's Pro League Grand Finals were in March of 2008, I believe. And here are some recent Pro League winning teams. Shinhan Bank 2007, for the first half, Samson Khan won. The second place was Lake Half Oz. For the second half of 07, Lake Half Oz first, CJ Entus second, and for the finals, Lake Half Oz first and Samson Khan second. And by the way, I'm always asked for this video, so I'll show you a short clip from SC2GG's Rise's game of Firebat Hero losing in that finals, and I think he won't mind me showing it.
Right now, Firebat Hero producing out of a bottom right expansion that has just been found by Haya, and now that Goliath is good. Oh my God! Look at Firebat Hero. Oh man, he is down and out. He won't even GG. He's crying on his keyboard. Wow, that I did not expect. GG's finally, and Lake Calf is celebrating.
And finally, in the first half of Shinhan Bank's 2008, we have Samson Khan in first place and OG and Sparkies in second place. Of course, this was a scene of Firebat Hero's revenge in some ways, with his crazy beach ceremony that he ends up stripping off his clothes and jumping into the ocean after winning his Pro League game. You might see some very common names here. Samson Khan and Lake have certainly been doing very well recently. And finally, on the bottom, we have some non-winners, generally Pro League teams who never made it into playoffs in years, if ever. These include Hambit Stars, which is actually called Woojin Stars, starting from this season, Team Eastrel, and the Air Force Ace team, unfortunately. Okay, moving on now to the Ongamenet Starleague, the OSL. This is the oldest and in some ways the most prestigious individual Star League out there. It was first placed in 1999, all the way back from the Battle.net days it was played. Basically, it evolved from some of the Blizzard-sponsored tournaments as people in Korea realized, hey, I love this game and I want to see some tournament, a national tournament in our country. In any case, there are three-month seasons of the OSL played every year. Many of you have asked, what season are we on? How come the OSL just ended and now it's starting up again? Well, that's how it works. At the end of one season, basically a few days afterwards, you have the preliminaries of the next season. That's how closely packed they are in general. Each season is named after its sponsor, which will help you determine the differences between the seasons. Right now, it's called the Incrude OSL, which will end next month. Winning the OSL in your first entry into the OSL is called the Royal Road, or making the Royal Road. Only 2 players, on the other hand, have received the Golden Mouse for winning a record total of 3 OSL titles. This is how the OSL works in its organization. The preliminaries to the OSL are called the Ongamenet Star Challenge, the OSC, of which you see some games that are televised. The round of 36 is the first round of the OSL. Now, by the way, there used to be an old system where you had a tournament called the Ongamenet Dual Tournament, but that was eliminated by the last OSL, the Ever OSL, so don't worry about that. But if you see some videos from, say, Moltrap or Diggity's accounts with it, that's a whole different story. That was even more complicated. Anyway, going back to the present-day system, the round of 36 has 12 groups of 3. Now, in each of the groups, 2 players from the Ongamenet Star Challenge play a best of 3. The winner of that plays a best of 3 with the 3rd player, who is a number 16 to number 5 finisher in the last OSL. So basically, if you came out of the OSC, you have to win 2 matches, whereas if you're seeded from being number 16 to number 5 in the last OSL, you only have to play 1 match to leave the round of 36, and only 1 person advances from each group of 3. This golden opportunity, rather, for him to take down this Nexus. Will be able to do it. Looks like it's only about 300 hit points left, but Pure going in now with all of his drones, and oh my goodness! What are you doing? What are you doing, Hyuk? Oh, Hyuk! Hyuk got hooked! Oh, Hyuk, you bad person, you. Did not taking down the next... The round of 16 then consists of the 12 winners from the round of 36's 12 groups, plus the top 4 finishers from the last OSL. In the round of 16, there are 4 groups of 4. Each group plays 6 games in total, so everyone has the opportunity to play each opponent at least once. And if there are ties after 6 games, there are tie-breaking games. 2 players advance from each group of 4. As you can see from the way the Ongamenet tournament works, it is somewhat difficult to come in and win as a new player. This system does favor legacies, players who can make it into the round of 16, or even better, make it into the top 4, and it definitely leads to more consistent winners and consistent participants in the OSL. Finally, after the round of 16, the round of 8 consists of 4 pairs who play best of 3 series.
These Mulisks are going to die, but I think he's walked into a trap here. It's a trap! It's a trap, Flash! And Flash is going to lose so many of his Marines here, and so many Lurkers moving in here for Luxury. Luxury just ripping apart Flash's Medic Marines, and Flash's...
And then the round of 4 consists of 2 pairs who play best of 5 series, and finally the finals are another best of 5 series. And the winner is given the largest monetary prize of all 3 major tournaments. Here are some of the recent OSL seasons and finalists. Right now, we have the Incrude OSL. The one before it was the Ever OSL, which July won over Best. You can find the final video that I was part of the commentary of in the Violattack account. There was the Bacchus OSL before then, where Flash defeated Stork, actually just a week after he defeated Stork in the GomTV Star Invitational, so it was a bad week for Stork. The Ever OSL in December of 2007, Jadong beat Stork. The Dom OSL ending in July of 2007, GG Play beat Iris, and that was one of the tournaments where it was rather surprising who ended up in the top 2. I believe it was partially because Flash cheesed Bisu out of getting into the finals, rather, and there was a bunch of other coincidences that made it so GG Play and Iris could be in the top 2. Before that was the Shinhan Bank OSL, where Savior beat Nada. That was his one OSL victory, and I have casts of that in my playlists. And finally, before that, in 2006, Nada beat Anytime for the finals.
He had such a good plan of attack, but Savior just totally wrecked it by opening up that bottom left path, attacking when he should have been defending. And Savior picks up his first OSL title here. Good game, Savior. Good series, Savior. Savior wins 3-1. And he's overcome with emotion here. Nada can't be unsatisfied, though. He really was beaten by a very top player.
Now moving on to the MBC Starleague, otherwise known as the MSL. The MBC Starleague is a little bit newer. It evolved from the KPGA tournaments, the Korean Pro Gaming Association tournaments, in 2001-2002. The first official MSL, the Stout MSL, occurred in 2003. Current season right now is the Club Day MSL. Of course, each MSL, just like the OSL, is sponsored by a corporation. Random fact: the group selection phase for the MSL round of 16 often leads to players picking rivals on purpose. In this phase, basically, the people who did better in the previous group are allowed to pick who they want to be in their group of 4 for the round of 16. This is unlike the OSL, I believe. For example, this year, Firebat Hero picked Savior in the last MSL for his group in order to eventually defeat and humiliate Savior. And this time around for the Club Day MSL, he picked Much for his group. Much, of course, the one who drew the Pylon Heart. And we'll see if he, well, actually, you guys can watch if he got some revenge on Much, or rather, Much defeated him again by going to the Violattack account and watching my casts, once again, of that group. Now, here's the organization of the MBC Starleague. The preliminaries of the MSL are called the MBC Survivor Tournament, otherwise known as the MST. Once again, there are some televised games from that. From the round of 32 onwards is the first round of the real MSL. All the games are televised afterwards. The group stage of the MSL round of 32 is a bit confusing, so I'll explain it. There's 5 games for this group of 4. Now, 2 pairs play in the games 1 and 2. In the third game, called the Winners Game, the winners of the first 2 games play, and the winner of that game advances to the round 16. In the fourth game, the losers of the first 2 games play. The loser of that game gets eliminated. And the winner of the fourth game faces the loser of the third game in the final game. The winner of that advances to round 16, the loser goes home. By the way, the top 8 of the last MSL are seeded into the round of 32. There's no further seedings like in the OSL, so MSL in some ways is more easy, it's more likely for a new player to reach the top. The round of 16 consists of 8 best-of-3 series, and the round of 8, round of 4, and the finals rather, all consist of best-of-5 series. Here are some recent MSL seasons and finalists. The last MSL, the Arena MSL, was won by 4GG, defeating on the way Flash and then Jaedong with some very, very precise and studied plans to defeat his opponents, I feel, and certainly coming out of nowhere in some ways to defeat both of these players whom most people thought would be able to defeat him. Previous to that, we had 4 seasons of